Today I will be showing you a compilation video of 60 Dollar Tree spring DIYs. Not to worry, each DIY is only 1 to 2 minutes, some even less. Enjoy.
I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now.
The first thing I'm gonna do is paint the whole sign white. So I'm gonna use my measuring tape and measure 1 inch and go ahead and mark it off with my pencil. And I'm just showing you, I'm going to cover up the first stripe. So you want to paint a stripe and then skip a stripe. And now I'm taking another piece and covering up the other side. That way it only exposes the second stripe so I can paint it. Now I need a light blue and a dark blue. So I'm going to leave the dark blue as is, and then the light blue I'm just going to add some white to, of course, lighten it up. And then I'm just going to continue on skipping another stripe and using my painter's tape to help me out to make those stripes. Already marked off 1 inch going the other way on the blue stripes only. Now I'm just taking the dark blue and painting inside of the tape just on the light blue area. You can see there's little dark blue squares painted. So you do the same thing and you just skip a square and paint a square. So now I'm applying that tape again and painting the dark blue squares again. And I'll just keep doing that until I go all the way to the bottom and finish. Next to the dark blue squares, you're going to go back with that light blue and make little blue squares in between that. So I have that glued together. Now I brought out some Dollar Tree peonies and hydrangeas. Paint with these 4 canvases, which I have done multiple times, and it's gonna have like a little wreath and a flower box. Before I glue them together, I'm just gonna paint them with my apple barrel white paint. Now I'm going to use some Dollar Tree twine to hang up this wreath, and the little spring sign, I found it with the flowers. For the flower box at the bottom, I'm going to use this Dollar Tree wired basket and some twine, and I'm just going to tie both ends to the window pane. Now I'm adding some of these Dollar Tree flowers to the basket, but I did end up taking out the floral foam because you could see it and it didn't look that good. This next one is really simple. I'm just using this Dollar Tree watering can and adding some flowers to it just to add some spring decor to any part of your home. You can do this very easily. Dollar Tree flowers, and instead of cutting them, that way I can use them for something else if I need to. I just fold the bottom so they fit better in there. And if you wanted to, you could add twine to the bottom of it by just wrapping it on the bottom to make it look more rustic, or you can make a little twine bow and add it to this. Okay, on to the next one. And for this one, we're using this other wreath charm that I bought. First, I'm going to paint the whole thing white with that apple barrel white paint. And then I'm going to trace it and then cut it out. The easiest way for me to use Mod Podge is by adding it to the sign or whatever you're gluing. Add a good even layer, especially on the edges. So what I did was just place it on top, kind of smooth it around, make sure it's centered or where you want it, and yeah, this is the easiest way and there's no air bubbles. To reveal the hole at the top, all I did was use a pencil. And I do recommend sealing this. Them on one by one. There are tons of ways to style these, so I'm going to show you a couple. This is why I decided to make a loop at the top in case I wanted to hang it on something like this. It looks nice both ways. Again, there are so many ideas you can do with these. For this next one, I'm using this little Dollar Tree decor piece. It's just a little basket with 3 eggs inside. Leave the basket as is, and then I'm going to paint the eggs white with my apple barrel paint. I took 3 craft sticks, which you can pick up at the Dollar Tree, to make a sign for the basket, and I'm going to paint them white. Again, 1 coat. I'm going to spell out farm fresh eggs. Once I'm done, I just cut off the ends, and then I'll be gluing them onto the basket. Very, very simple. I have 3 round glass vases from Dollar Tree. So I just use this greenery right here that I'm pulling off. I end up using, I think, a couple of those and then 2 stems of the white florals from Dollar Tree. Instead of doing that, I literally put in 2 whole stems because it just looks better. So I hope I have 5 Dollar Tree canvases. These are all 5x7s. I use this hazelnut chalk paint from Waverly. To give it more of the look that I want, I'm adding some of this antique parchment from Apple Barrel in matte. 4 frames on the side. The 5th canvas that I am going to leave the actual canvas on, I'm going to use my moss chalk paint on here. Take this Dollar Tree wall decal and I am going to cut out the word 8. Three more canvases. I have 2 5x7s and 1 8x10. So I'm making a crate. I removed the canvases from the 2 smaller frames, and I'm also going to do it to the 8x10, but I just wasn't sure yet at this point. So for my crazy idea, I have this non-slip rug underlay from Dollar Tree. And as I'm adding glue, as you can see, I do sort of stretch out the material just so it's not too loose. Now for the 8x10 frame that's going at the bottom, I removed the canvas because I wanted the wood tone to show, but I'm going to go ahead and glue that canvas back onto the frame where the staples are at. This is just so you can't see through the bottom of the frame or the crate. I was going to add poster board as well, glue all 3 frames together. So this is how it's going to go. I'm going to add my hot glue and glue them. Some tumbling tower blocks. I'm taking 5 and 5, so I have 10. I'm going to glue 5 together right up here at the top. I'm using a paint stick from Home Depot. These come in a 3-pack for $1. I have 2 Dollar Tree drawers. So I am going to hot glue the first one down at the bottom, and this is going to be the one that's going to hold it all together. I will add some weight in here just so that way I can set it and it won't like fall over because it's lopsided. What I did was just measure in between, and they're all about 3 inches from each other. So now I'm going to hot glue the next one. But now that I put the pebble inside, it stays in place. So that's what I decided to put in there for the weight. A square wreath form from Dollar Tree. I also have 2 different types of nautical rope from the Dollar Tree. So I have that more darker one and that real light creamy one. I'm gonna untangle them and I'm gonna just use one of the 3. Then I just start wrapping. And if you need to add more hot glue anywhere, you can do it. Outside part of this, you just wrap the remaining little area and then add hot glue to the back. I'm gonna use this family decal from Dollar Tree. Glue the sign down, or the piece of foam board down, and then I applied the family decal to the top of it. So the first thing I want to do is go ahead and glue the wreath on top of the canvas like that. I have these white hydrangeas that I've been having for a while. To take some of these, stick some of these carrots onto the wreath. I'm gonna take my rope and go ahead and glue it, and then I'll arrange the flowers inside of it. Dollar Tree drawers. They're made out of wood, and this is how they come out. Now I'm going to take some Amazon beads. I have them linked below on my Amazon store. Now I'm going to add the 4 legs to elevate the drawers. From Dollar Tree, I have some shower curtain rings, and I have 2 picture frames, one 4x6 and one 8x10. It's not exactly a dupe, but it is an inspiration piece that I thought I could recreate. I turned the frame around on the back side, and It has a little indentation where you set the glass on and it stays. So that's what I'm using to add the shower rings to. So I'm just setting them up how I want them. I would suggest, of course, using either super glue, Gorilla Glue. What we're gonna do is paint the whole thing. So use my antique wax from Waverly and go over that frame. I decided to use this small wooden chalkboard frame from Dollar Tree. All I did was cut out a spring decal. These 3 Dollar Tree items. I have a sink mat, a dry erase paddle, and I also have some push pins. I'm going to use some black apple barrel paint in matte to paint this. I'm going to add the push pins inside of the sink mat into the dry erase board. Dollar Tree mirror that I'm going to use, a coat of my Waverly white chalk paint, Dollar Tree candle holder, and I'm going to add the frame mirror on top of this. So I'm just going to use some hot glue and add it on there. If you have a big candle, you can just stick that in there. I didn't have any. I have some of these small ones from Dollar Tree, so I'm just gonna add 2 in there just so it doesn't look weird with one small one. I'm using these 2 Dollar Tree items for the next one. Something that you can see, I have this chalkboard marker that I'm gonna use to trace it, and then I'll cut this out. I'm gonna hot glue this onto the burner cover now. Garden fence. I'm going to use some stem cutters, but you can use sharp scissors as well. The 3 wooden boxes together. To make a little centerpiece out of this, and then what I'm going to do is take these clay pots, so I'm going to put 3 inside of this. It's from the Dollar Tree, including these faux moss stones, the Spanish moss that I just used. I have some twine, and I have some of this ribbon, these small little eggs, and then the vase, and this candlestick. I have 3 Dollar Tree crates and some mini little blocks. I'm going to add the 2 pairs on the back of the first crate. So the first crate is going to sit flat, and then these 2 are going right here. I'm going to add 2 more sets of blocks. So the last ones are going to be 2 sets of 5. Two Dollar Tree canvases. They are both 6 by 8 inches. Now I'm going to use my Dollar Tree crab sticks. These will be used to connect the frame so it looks like a white picket fence planter. I'm going to take all of them and cut the ends off. I am using 18 crab sticks for this one. I love using Dollar Tree crab sticks because they cut very easily. I'm going to start off by adding 2 crab sticks, 1 on each side, but only to the bottom frame for now. Crab sticks on each side. I'm going to go ahead and add the top frame. I'm doing the same thing on this side and adding the crab sticks, 1 on each side first. After that, I added a piece of foam board at the bottom of that so I can add these Dollar Tree lavenders and greenery. 4 pallets out of my Dollar Tree crab sticks. To make these mini pallets, I'm going to lay 5 flat just like this, and I am going to cut off the ends of each one. 7 crab sticks in total for 1 little pallet. So I have all 4 of my pallets done. I used 28 crab sticks. Now I'm going to use 2 of these cardboard containers that I found at Dollar Tree. And I'm going to remove the lid and cut the bottom part of the container in half. So I'm going to hot glue this down like this. So the dowels are basically just to connect the pallet and the container, and it's just a better hold as well. So right here I'm just showing you how the dowels look once it's all glued together. Using 4 canvases from Dollar Tree, the same size I used earlier, 6 by 8 inches. Now, to make it easier on yourself, you don't need to remove the canvases. I did that because I was going for a specific look that didn't really work out. I'm using this self-adhesive tile from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to cover all 4 pieces with it. What I do is glue all 4 of the frames together. Make the roof of the wishing well, so I'm grabbing 13 Dollar Tree crab sticks for one side, so you need 26 in total. And then to the 13 crab sticks, or 26, I cut off the ends on one side. I have a pack of giant crab sticks from Walmart. I'm going to use this on the side right here on each side of the roof. Now I am using 4 of the giant craft sticks from Walmart. I cut off the ends on both sides. I'm going to glue 2 together, so that way it's just a little more heavy duty, because I'm going to attach this to the roof and then to the base of the wishing well. And of course, I'm using my hazelnut chalk paint to paint the whole roof. So what I did was cut out another piece of foam board for this DIY as well and add it to the bottom with hot glue. I'm not even sure you can call this one a DIY. That's how easy this one is. But with one of them, I'm going to use this Dollar Tree candle holder. So all you have to do, this actually fits perfectly on top. You just stick it on top and that's it. I'm not going to hot glue it or anything. Add some Spanish moss inside and then a white stem of flowers from Dollar Tree as well. The first thing you want to do is paint all 3 of these gold candlesticks white, just to give it a good base. The brown color, that pavement color, and then I have brown with some white to create a lighter brown. And I'm going to apply both colors and start going over this. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some more of the darker brown. Black, or it's called pavement. And I'm just gonna brush some off so I can go over it lightly. Now what I'm gonna do is take my 3 clay pots and I'm gonna whitewash it. You can either use the green moss from the Dollar Tree or the little green round stones. I have these 2 unique bottles from the Dollar Tree. A little bit of brown. Now I'm going to go over it a little bit more again. So I just started to kind of play around with it and add some white to it. Found these little window arches from Dollar Tree. Using this Dollar Tree chopping mat. I'm going to use the chopping mat to basically create like a little pocket on top of the window arch. So it's about 5 inches. So now I'm going to take them outside and spray paint them with my white flat spray paint. I'm going to wrap it toward the front and around to the side. It's about 8.5 inches, so I'm going to mark it there and now cut that piece off. To glue this on, I'm going to use some E6000 and my hot glue. So I'm going to take some of this Dollar Tree burlap and I'm going to add a trim to each side. So I'm going to cut off a piece and then we'll add hot glue. three Dollar Tree items I'm using for the next one. So this one is the burner covers from Dollar Tree. This is a gold basket from Dollar Tree. Spray paint all three of these items. So for the basket, I'm using this brown hammered paint. And then for the candlestick and burner cover, I'm going to use this one, and it also makes it look galvanized, and it's hammered as well. So I'm adding some antique wax with a really good bristled brush. You don't want to use like a smooth type paintbrush. For this really simple and easy DIY is just to hot glue these two together. You can use E6000 if you choose. Pretty little vintage like jar from Dollar General that I got last year with some tulips in there. Canvas art piece from Dollar Tree. I'm going to bring in two shower caddies from Dollar Tree. I'm just going to take some stem cutters, and the easiest way I found it was to grab the piece that you want to remove, just twist back and forth just for a few seconds. I did it too long because I wasn't sure how tough it was going to be, but once I twisted it back and forth, you can just pop it off. So you can bend it and it pops right off. Just play around with it, and I'm going to insert a photo right now so you can see kind of where the inspiration came from. The whole bottom part covered, I'm going to use my hot glue and some heavy duty clamps. So you'll see me cut a piece off right here and add it to the caddy that's connected to the frame, just for a better hold. Now what I'm going to do is take some yarn, or you can use twine. Take some Dollar Tree beads and hot glue it along the top part of this lantern. And then we'll go outside and spray paint it with that white matte spray paint. On to the next DIY. I'm using an old Dollar Tree frame, so you can just pick up any one that you want. I'm going to use this garden fence from Dollar Tree. So now I got all of those hot glue down there, and I took it outside and spray painted it. I'm going to use my hazelnut chalk paint to kind of go over the crab sticks with a little bit of water. And then the last thing to do was just to hot glue these to the bottom on the four corners. A really easy and simple way you could vamp up any basket from Dollar Tree. So this was gold, but I spray painted it black. I am going to just create a little bottom trim for this. I'm using this Dollar Tree universal tool hooks from there, and I'm going to bend it with my stem cutters and put it on the other side.
City lights looking fine, and I know this is my time now. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else.
This pitcher slash watering can from the Dollar Tree.
I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive.
So now I'm taking my black ink chalk paint and coating the top of this pitcher.
What I do when I'm out, so try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car.
this candle holder, and I'm going to use the same paints again, the white apple barrel paint and the black ink chalk paint. So I'm taking this Dollar Tree candle holder, you can add a candle on top of this, maybe a flower pot, whatever you want. The option. I'm using 4 more of those 5x7 Dollar Tree frames. I'm also leaving that border that's inside. And I'm going to be taking this Dollar Tree hat. So as you can see, that bottom part of the hat came off easily by just pulling it apart. And so this doesn't keep ripping off. I'm just adding some hot glue. I'm taking 8 inches of the bottom part of the hat and I'm cutting that off. I'm going to be making something out of this Dollar Tree holder that I found in the party section, and then I'm going to be taking this wood contact paper from Dollar Tree as well, and I'm going to be wrapping it around this holder section by section. Dollar Tree basket, I'm going to go ahead and spray paint it with this chiffon chalk paint. And I'm going to take this Dollar Tree sign and remove the middle part that says moon, and I'm going to use that to put inside of the basket. So once that dried, I'm taking these Dollar Tree poster stickers and I'm going to spell out spring. I'm going to start adding some of these Dollar Tree flowers, as you can see. Lastly, I decided to add these white Dollar Tree flowers. Taking these canvases from Dollar Tree. Look, I'm going to be taking this Dollar Tree fins. I'm taking my hot glue gun to start gluing that down to the frame. A piece of canvas from one of the frames, and I'm going to make a sign out of it. I'm taking some Dollar Tree craft sticks. I'm going to spell out bloom. Using one of those Dollar Tree stems, I'm just taking the greenery from that and gluing that on here. I'm using 2 Dollar Tree Easter signs. I'm going to go over it with some of this hazelnut Waverly chalk paint. I'm going to use this Dollar Tree burlap ribbon. I have some thumbtacks from Dollar Tree, which I used 11 on each frame. So once I figure that out, I remove them. I have this little piece of cardboard I'm going to stick them into, and then I'm going to paint them white. And what I'm going to do is take my stem cutters and just cut off the needle part of it. Another idea would be to use the pink little, like half beads, I guess you can call them. Lastly, I'm adding these Dollar Tree flowers to them. I'm going to use these 2 Dollar Tree items, add it like this to the top, and stick the ends in between the little wood pieces. I am grabbing some of this floral wire from Dollar Tree and wrapping it around right here on each end. This greenery and add it to the top where the bunny ears are at and kind of cover up that floral wire as well. I also have these Dollar Tree pink flowers. I only ended up needing 5. I'm going to use this to make a sign. Every season they have a really long sign. So for Easter they have this welcome Easter sign that's pretty long, and I was going to use that. I couldn't find any at both of my local Dollar Trees. So I'm going to use 5 of those, and then I'm also going to use the little wooden drawers. Now I'm going to paint all 6 of the wooden boxes white. So what I'm doing is just taking a real defined brush and just going over that pencil line with the antique wax. Adding these Dollar Tree white flowers. Tree wooden egg that I'm going to use. As you can see, I'm marking in 1-inch increments, both horizontally and vertically. For this first row of squares, I'm going to paint 1, so I'm just going to mark that, skip 1, then paint the following one, and you'll see the pattern in a second. I'm going to start off by showing you the right side because I kind of messed up on the left. Galvanized the spring sign to the center, kind of slanted just to give it a fun look. I'm taking one of these wall art canvas pieces from Dollar Tree, and now what I'm going to do is take this Dollar Tree bath mat. Thumbtacks to each corner of the frame. And the last thing I'm going to do is add one of these gallery prints. And I'm using these burner covers from Dollar Tree. I'm gonna use this matte black. I'm gonna use some Dollar Tree burlap. Some of this Dollar Tree rope just to hang, or just to glue in the back like this so we can hang them up. For this next DIY, I picked up 4 vases from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to take a Dollar Tree candle holder and I'm going to glue it to the bottom to kind of make a stand. I'm going to add this bottom portion. Now I'm using a Dollar Tree book. Using these 2 Dollar Tree items, I have a magnifying sheet and some wall decal. I'm going to use Be Humble and Be Loving. I'm going to use these Dollar Tree tumbling blocks. Burner cover. They come in a 2-pack at Dollar Tree. I'm going to start by hot gluing the Dollar Tree nautical rope. Using the Dollar Tree bath mat for the beaded area. 2 Dollar Tree containers that are made out of cardboard. I am now going to use my antique wax. I'm using these 2 small wooden blocks from Dollar Tree. Or if you are still here, write a flower emoji in the comments below. I'm using 2 Dollar Tree wire hanging baskets. I removed the little hooks sticking up on top of one of them already, just with my stem cutters. I'm going to take one of them and put it upside down, grab the other one and place it on top of it. And now what we're gonna do to combine both of them is take my floral wire, and they have this at Dollar Tree. And you're just going to wrap it around the whole thing and it will stay in place. I'm going to take the smaller one of the 2 burner covers from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to place it upside down in the basket. I'm going to use this Dollar Tree sign. So the first thing I'm going to do is hot glue the very first row all the way at the top. Once I do that, I'm going to take some Dollar Tree wooden dominoes from the toy section. First off, I'm going to take off the sponge part, and then I'm going to add some glue and then start off by wrapping it. This Dollar Tree wired wreath, and it's going to help me draw out the wheel on this cardboard. And I'm going to cut out a piece. We're going to take these Dollar Tree buckets. Lastly, I'm using some jute twine to secure it. These two pieces of garland with the leaves. What I did was take two of the Dollar Tree wood pallets and I traced out a rectangle around it. I just wanted to make sure those two pallets would fit on there nicely. To give this a border, I picked up these really long bamboo skewers from Dollar Tree. While that's drying, I am marking off every 2 inches on each side of the poster board so I can make my shiplap lines with this Sharpie. To glue both of the pallets to the sign, I needed to add 2 triangular pieces to the sides. I am taking this Dollar Tree bath mat. Three of these 5x7 picture frames from Dollar Tree. What I'm going to do is use part of this fence for one of the frames. For the other two 5x7 frames, I am adding a piece of the bath mat to each one. Connect the 3 frames together side by side just with my hot glue. I'm starting off with this poster board, and I'm also going to use 2 of the Dollar Tree crates. I'm going to create a border around the poster board with these wood dowels from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use this backsplash wall sticker from Dollar Tree to add to this sign. I'm going to make a plant hanger. It's really simple. Everything you see here is from Dollar Tree. I picked up some of these white florals from there. So first, I'm going to add some floral foam in here. So I start spreading them out evenly. And then I'm also going to add some greenery. Picked up a trellis from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use a brown spray paint to spray paint the whole thing. Now that I have them cut in half, I'm going to paint both of them white with my white chalk paint. Take the trellis and just cut off the two bottom parts that would go in the ground. Dollar Tree floral wire to connect the bottom big basket. Now for the top basket, I'm going to make it smaller just by cutting off a few inches on each side.
Watch the clock ticking off the wall, but tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure.